How to climb to the peak of life and life. Xiefeng. March 1, 2016. Using the most advanced scientific technology, along with abundant facts and data, scientists have quantified the peak of life and life as a vibrational frequency of 1000, or a consciousness energy level of 1000. In other words, if your consciousness energy level reaches 1000, it indicates that you have climbed to the peak of life and life. The energy level of consciousness ranges from a minimum of 1 to a maximum of 1000. Research shows that the vast majority of humans have energy levels below 200. Only 4,000ths of the global population reach an energy level of 500, and only 1 in 10 million reaches 600. Dr. Hawkins personally observed the only person with an energy level of 700, which was Mother Teresa. The great inventor Edison had an energy level of 470, U.S. President Roosevelt was 450, scientists Einstein and Newton were 499, Madame Curie was 505, Da Vinci was 565, Confucius was 590, Zhuangzi was 710, Bodhidharma was 795, Ji Gong the Living Buddha was 870, Laozi was 1000, and both Jesus Christ and Buddha Shakyamuni surpassed 1000. Statistics show that in thousands of years of human history, individuals with an energy level of 1000 are extremely rare and can be called great gods or Buddhas. Currently, the only known individuals to have reached 1000 are Laozi, Shakyamuni, and Jesus. From this, we can see that the peak of life and life we aim to climb is to become like Laozi, Shakyamuni, and Jesus. These scientific conclusions align perfectly with the values of Lifechanyuan. Laozi is a celestial being, Shakyamuni is a Buddha, and Jesus is a god. The energy levels of gods, Buddhas, and celestial beings are all 1000 and above. The peak that Lifechanyuan celestials aspire to reach is the energy level of a celestial being, which is 1000. How can we climb to the peak of life and life to reach 1000 within a limited time? Lifechanyuan makes it clear from the outset that Laozi, Shakyamuni, and Jesus are the mentors of Lifechanyuan. If we strictly follow their teachings in our cultivation and practice, we can climb to the peak of life and life. To simplify, we should strictly adhere to the teachings in the Tao Te Ching, the Gospels of the New Testament, the Diamond Sutra, and the Heart Sutra. If these scriptures are hard to understand, there is a shortcut: strive towards the goal of the state of eightfold liberation I have outlined. Achieving the state of eightfold liberation is not an overnight process. It requires going through 3 phases or checkpoints. First is the thorough purification of the mind, which I often refer to as the building of one's soul garden. Second is completely severing worldly ties and repaying all debts. Third is accumulating sufficient merit. Building the soul garden is the primary checkpoint. Without passing this, it is difficult to reach even an energy level of 300, let alone 1000. The primary task in building the soul garden is to clear out the weeds and poisonous plants in it, such as jealousy, resentment, comparison, anger, meanness, hatred, fury, indignation, hatred, revenge, selfishness, greed, possession, control, laziness, sorrow, sadness, guilt, shame, contempt, fear, cowardice, passivity, negativity, pessimism, arrogance, pride, cynicism, conflict, debate, desire, and so on. Without thoroughly eliminating these, one's vibrational frequency will hover below 200. For example, the energy level of shame is 20, guilt is 30, apathy is 50, grief is 75, fear is 100, desire is 125, anger is 150, and pride is 175. All these mental states have energy levels below 200. Therefore, building the soul garden is foundational work, and all practitioners must undergo thorough mental purification. Without this, all efforts are in vain. Scientists have discovered that 200 is a critical energy level. Levels below 200 carry negative energy and are prone to illness. Levels above 200 carry positive energy and are free from illness. So, to avoid illness, one must strive to raise their vibrational frequency above 200. The energy level of love is 500, joy is 540, and peace and happiness is 600. Thus, by maintaining a state of constant joy, peace, happiness, and love, one can quickly raise their vibrational frequency and increase their energy level. Debt and worldly ties are the second checkpoint in climbing to the peak of life and life. Debt entanglements and deep worldly ties prevent one from feeling peaceful and joyous, and they cannot escape the gravitational pull of life. Therefore, to raise one's energy level, one must repay all past debts and completely sever worldly ties. Merit is the third checkpoint to reach an energy level of 1000. Without merit, one can never reach the state of eightfold liberation, nor the peak. Hence, one must selflessly contribute, always give more than they take, perform acts of charity without seeking reward, and accumulate treasures in heaven. Over time, everything will naturally fall into place when the conditions are ripe, like fruit that ripens and falls naturally. In passing these three checkpoints, there are countless methods. As long as the methods are appropriate, climbing to the peak of life and life is not a problem.